So, I made a few No Man's Sky videos over the course of the year and, well, since its release, and I've basically been one of those people that has been checkpointing this game as time and time goes on in the back of my mind, and every time something major comes out, I make a video. So, the reason I'm making this video today is because recently, this update, and I missed an entire update ago too, I didn't cover the last big update for this game, but this update I want to cover because I was looking at the Steam rankings for this fucking game that had just come out, this update, No Man's Sky. Now, while initially when it came out on PC, it received mostly negative, overwhelmingly negative reviews. In fact, this game wouldn't even sell during its... This game died on Steam entirely. And I know, full disclaimer, that Steam reviews and Steam guides, anything related to that, it should be taken lightly. But recently, it's received mostly positive reviews, which has been a shock to me. I've been wondering why this game has received so much praise all of a sudden because of this one update. Well, I put my money where my mouth is, put the No Man's Sky disc into my PlayStation 3, the lovely game. I decided I'm going to update it to its latest release and decided to play it, and lo and behold, I was surprised. So, for those of you who don't know, Atlas Rise is out. Update 1.32 or 1.34. I don't exactly remember the version name, but it's the Atlas Rise update for No Man's Sky, version 1.3. And this introduces things that I agree should have been in the game beforehand, but they make the game so much better. So let's go over with what they have. And I figured the best way I'm going to do this is by going to No Man's Sky's website themselves, where they have a comprehensive patch guide and a patch list on what they've done, and compare it to some of the gameplay that I've captured and played before I'm making this video. So, Update 1.3, as you can see, Atlas Rises. It brings a brand new and overhauled central storyline portal and new procedural mission system, trade improvement, system economies, joint exploration, and more. So, first off, the new story, I have not detected it at all. Now, I played through, I think it's at this point 5 hours on my initial save, and I figured maybe it's not popping up because I'm playing on my original save. Although I was noticing a lot more anomalies in the game kicking off, I just didn't see the new story or this new interdimensional race. So I started up a new game, and I played for, I think, about 8 to 9 hours, somewhere in between that. If I can get an accurate reading of my playtime, I'll edit it on. But I played about 8 or 9 hours on a new file entirely, new PlayStation account, whatever. I was playing entirely new, fresh from the beginning. Did not encounter this mysterious new interdimensional race, so it probably shows up way later. I mean, after all, it's about 30 hours of story content. I looked around for the lore and interaction that was double that of the existing game, which is pretty fucking laughable because how much was in the core game, we know. But there were glitches or ancient portals, and some of these I came across with, so they offer a new element of gameplay. They offer a new little bit of story. But when I was playing initially, I noticed that in the beginning, which they definitely have catered more to easing players in, has been a little reworked. You get more of these large, grandiose things that help guide you in the beginning first to half hour, 2 hours of the game, and it looks a little better that way. I guess to say it's a little more cohesive. But again, new story-wise, haven't really seen a lot of it kicking in, but I noticed that there is a little more of the world, so I guess maybe in that case I'm seeing a bit of the story show up here and there. Now, they had this Galactic regeneration, which adds wealth, it adds economy, and it adds conflict levels to all these star systems you go to. Now, before this patch in particular, there was the old logic of 4 different types of star systems. Basically, it would all be color-coded like red, green, and in order to go to them, you would need certain warp drive upgrades. But here, now you not only have that, but you have these economic levels, you have conflict, you have wealth, and these I've actually seen implemented in the game too. So, aside from the economy that was already in the base game, it seems to me that there are set economies, and there's like economy clusters, I want to say. So like certain types of goods make sense more, and they end up making a more cohesive like system entirely. In fact, it almost makes it easier to kind of farm certain economies. If you find, say, something good here and something good over there, you can build like a little interdimensional rift and just keep trading back and forth. Which, by the way, trading itself has been severely upgraded. Now, when Sean Murray said you can play the whole game as a trader, it almost feels like you kind of can at this point. The trading system is greatly enhanced. Now, aside from the conflict stuff, I feel like there's more war going on in space, like actual space. Like there's more fighting, there's more freighters being attacked, there's more everything. At this point, now when you're being like scanned, you can bring up a communicator and talk to the people scanning you, and it can turn out to be like pirates, or it could turn out to be like the Federation or whatever you could say. So everything's been like upgraded. The map even works better too. It's not like you deal with that one line pointing around, which sometimes gets kind of finicky. It's actually a much more cohesive, much more proper system, I guess you could say. I know I'm saying the word cohesive a lot, but that's the main thing you can pick out of this. Everything's been reworked, so it's better. Now, next in the whole thing, they mentioned new worlds, which is kind of a bullshit, I would say. And bullshit not in the worst way. When I first got this game, I got it before the initial day one patch. I got the game earlier, so I was playing 1.0, and even then, the game looked freaking great. The thing is, with No Man's Sky, is when you land on a planet with like a snow biome, you're gonna get a snow biome all the way across. So here, as far as I can tell, you still get a snow biome, say for example, but it just looks a little more diversified, if that makes sense. It's not just one flat thing over and over throughout the whole planet, which, trust me, you can trek through the whole planet in the original version and see the same shit. Here, you at least get to see something different, whether it be more intricate flora and fauna, and just a more scattered biome, so you could say. So it looks different. At the end, it's the same thing, but it just looks a little more diverse at this point. And then they had these crash freighters, and this is one of those things I came across like initially, first time I played. But when I looked at their picture of a crash freighter and the one that I came across, it looked eerily similar. So I'm really hoping that the crash freighter isn't just like one or two models that just randomly appears here and there. I hope there's more to it. It almost feels like when I play this, it's like playing the first level of Destiny again, where you see that huge ship that you wake up next to. And in this game, it feels like you can go into that ship, and you really can. Like, you can climb up and go to the little top parts of it, but again, there's only so much detail to it because it does seem like it's procedurally generated like everything else in the game. So as you go on through, you can like manipulate the terrain, you can do all this kind of stuff, and then comes the mission system, which they really showcased over here, and I really wanted to see how good the system was, and this feels pretty sweet. Now, my problem with No Man's Sky initially was that it almost felt like you were going from points to points in the galaxy. The planets didn't matter in the way between. What you were trying to do is get to the core. So the thing is, we all knew, and that's still the goal of No Man's Sky, is to get to the center of the galaxy. However, with this patch, I've noticed that the missions at least add some form of uniqueness to your entire trek through. So you can bring out missions, you can get as many of them as you want, turn them in whenever you want to, and they have some pretty decent rewards. You can get certain gears, you can get certain items, you can get blueprints, you can get like large sums of money, and some of the missions, while they seem interesting, ultimately boil down to a few set parameters. It's like Elite Dangerous. So if the game tells you, you know, raid a ship, shoot down the ship, or, you know, hunt an animal, actually go down and kill said animal, or, you know, gather an item like plutonium and sell it and bring it back, or do something similar. It's like that. It's very basic, and that's why it's procedurally generated, of course, but it adds at least something to do for each solar system. You at least get to do other things. Now the goal might not be just to get to the center. It might just be for you to do a bunch of missions and increase your ranking in the new guilds that have been introduced. So at the end of the day, there's more and more guilds and factions. There's more meters to go for, but there's different ways of tackling those different meters. It actually feels like a game that's much more livelier than it was when it came out. Things like the analysis visor, they get better, so it's not like you zoom into something and you just get a name. Now you get more history around it, you get more information on the planet that you're on. Basically, most of this update is things that should have been in the game anyways, and general quality of life upgrades. The game runs better now on the PS4, as far as I can tell. I've been playing on the Pro, so it runs 60 frames just fine. Played it on the original one, runs just like it did when it came out. The graphics look marginally better. It's not to say No Man's Sky looked ugly when it came out, by my opinion, but now it looks slightly better. They got some nice new effects in it, but other than that, the game is a lot better than what it was when it came out. I've been playing it, and I haven't felt that feel that I had when I originally played it, where it was like, oh, No Man's Sky, I guess I'm getting bored after, like, you know, 5 or 6 hours of doing the same thing over again. At least now, it actually feels like a game where it is procedurally generated, but you have a lot of this content that you can go out and do, and it at least breaks up the monotony here and there. Is it still as monotonous as it was initially? Yes. Is a story really something worth bragging about? No. But what it is a game that now feels more closer to that $60 game ever. Now, I'll always keep my No Man's Sky disc. Alright, I'll always keep it. Because No Man's Sky to me is like an experiment. It's like one of those pieces of gaming history I don't want to ever let go of. It was one of those games that I ended up buying for $60, and I swear, if No Man's Sky, when it came out, was just $20 at release, $25, even the disc, and we were given the promise, at least from Sony, you know, somewhat we're backing this game, that this game was going to get more content as time goes on, I don't think anybody would have complained. But when Hello Games came out and pimped this game out for $60, clearly going against the advertising that it initially let out, it's just wrong. It's not something that anybody could really tolerate, and nobody could really defend it. But I think now, a year later, with the 1.3 patch, knowing now, looking at all the development upgrades, looking at how much the developers for this game actually care about this franchise right now, because it's very evident, any developer wouldn't put this much effort into their game. It's something to be kind of commended, but it's also something that we should have gotten on release day. So, is this going to bring anybody back? The same question I mentioned last time I did a No Man's Sky video. Is anybody in the community coming back? Probably not. You know, they have a multiplayer component, and I didn't get to that for a reason. I'm going to mention it now. The multiplayer component, which should have been in the game from the beginning, which is one thing that was clearly alluded to, but, you know, sinisterly kept away from the public in its true fashion, is now there. You get like little orbs that float around on the screen. I've been playing for, again, you know, 5, 6, 8, 9 hours on multiple files, and I did not encounter another orb on the planet at all. Maybe it's because the galaxy is too huge, and Sean Murray and team are right, knowing that because we're in an entire galaxy, it's going to be hard to find people. But I haven't found one person yet, and it's kind of sad. I thought maybe I would have. But I think that's mostly due to the fact that, again, the community fell off for this game. There were more people watching that No Man's Sky video than there were people active at the time on Steam when I'd made the No Man's Sky 4, I think it was 4 months later or whatever, when I made that video. So clearly the community is gone, it has dwindled down because Hello Games had came out with a game that they clearly couldn't deliver. Now that they've delivered it, you know, for the most part a year later, the community still isn't back. There's more people talking about No Man's Sky, there's more articles being written about how great No Man's Sky is, but I don't think anybody's coming back to No Man's Sky. And it's kind of a damn shame knowing that if you had just been honest from the start and had released a game for $20, you would have avoided a lot of the drama that had occurred from the community, rightfully so. And this game might have been one of the top sellers on PlayStation and Steam right now. Maybe it might get to that stage, or maybe it might not. Right now it's looking like it won't, but this has been my look at the No Man's Sky year later patch, the Atlas Rises, and I had to make this video because, to be honest, this is the biggest substantial patch that this game has offered. And if the developers care so much about this game, I really think that in another year's time, this game, because I assume it's going to be set for the long term, is going to have even bigger patches. So if you haven't checked out No Man's Sky, I recommend maybe the next time it's on a sale, go pick it up. You'll have fun. Definitely pick it up on sale. It's still not $60 worth of content. I haven't seen the 30-hour story anywhere, but let me know what you think about it. This is me, Mutahar. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am